chaos and drama. I'm
I
just
hear
not open
you.
to that at all.
I hear you. So I like to catch the before chat. So I just hit the live button. Just letting you know. I know everything we're
Okay.
saying is still candid, but I will do intros in about a minute. But yeah, I like to just kind of catch some of the pre-conversations that we're always having when I have my guests on. So I hear you loud and clear. And I don't want to sound discouraging, but I think a lot of people, I won't just say women, are in that position in this phase. It's not that they don't want anyone, it's just we want a lot of peace. I know I want a lot of peace in my life. I practice, preach it, breathe it, and I just feel it. It's a part of what I do at Casa Elm. So I think we're all on the same page in that regard. Yeah.
I'm very open to anyone that comes into my life and brings happiness and joy and peace.
Okay. Have you?
That's all. I'm happy with that. But you know what I always say about men. Michelle has heard me say this many times. What are they, first and foremost? Disturbers of the what? Peace.
Peace. This is
They're
true.
disturbers of the peace.
Oh, oh, okay.
So,
Yeah. Oh, well, welcome to my channel. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here. It is Wind Down Wednesday. I'm super excited to have this conversation in depth about dating abroad, the Mexico edition. I say the Mexico edition. Maybe we'll interview someone somewhere else, but we are all in Mexico. And I just want to kind of touch on that. I get asked that question a lot. I have been asked that question even when I was married. People were asking me about dating in Mexico, and I still honestly don't have good advice because or experience, and I usually talk about things I have experience with, or I bring my guest on to talk about their experiences. So that's what we're doing tonight. So I want to say welcome to everyone. Thank you both for being here. Anne-Marie, you were on a couple of weeks ago to talk about rental and now to talk about this particular topic. And also, Lisa, thank you so much all the way from Playa, right? Am I getting that right? Playa del
Playa del
Carmen,
Carmen.
right? To share and talk about your experiences. And I will reiterate what I said a few minutes ago about my going online and just like the mishap of being online and not really feeling like that was for me at this point, or at that point, I should say, because that was over a year ago. But I think it's a topic that people want to know about because there are a lot of single women moving abroad, not just to Mexico, but to plenty of places. And honestly, guess what we're doing? We're moving abroad with our peace. So I just have to say that. So if there are any men in the audience, and I know there will be some people watching that are married, we're not knocking you. We're happy for you. If there are men out there that want to try to take the shot, feel free. This is just us talking our piece and our candid situations, and we just want to be here to say this is what has happened so far. So feel free to chime in and ask questions in the chat. Before we get into all of that, I want to say welcome to Cheryl. Hi, thank you for being here. Hey, Lisa. She said peace disruptors. Yes. Khadijah, hey. Oh, how are you tonight? Hi, Veronica, way back friend. Hello from Lisa to everyone. So, again, this is Michelle for Wind Down Wednesday. I am the founder of Casa Elm Boutique Guest House in San Miguel de Allende and also the founder of Hacienda Elm, which is a 60 plus community for those who want to live in community but need support. This new concept was launched a few months ago, and we have people that are coming in about a month. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm actually doing some real hardcore promoting within the San Miguel community, but it is open to everyone. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about it. You can go to either of the websites, and I'll drop those in the chat in a moment. What I want to clarify for anyone watching and maybe on the replay is that it is two separate locations, okay? Hacienda Elm is my boutique guest house, and Casa Elm, sorry, is my boutique guest house. Hacienda Elm is the 60 plus community, okay? Because I've had people who were coming out to look at, to do a tour or whatever, and they came to the wrong address. And I was just like, oh no. Like, so this is just something that I felt that I had to kind of say, but also continue clarifying. What I do here in San Miguel, I've been here since 2018. I founded Casa in January of 2022. Sorry, I'm getting all my dates and things, data mixed up. 2022, and I've been here since. I help people have a soft landing experience in San Miguel de Allende, people who have questions about moving. I have relocation tours, cultural experiences, all the things that people are curious about in terms of pre-moving, and then when they get here, how to integrate into the community and all the stuff. So when I moved here, there weren't a lot of colored people, a lot of Black folks or people of color, whatever. But now it's grown a lot. And although my space is open to everyone, it has also been kind of a haven for a lot of people to come and try on San Miguel. Again, a soft landing experience. I enjoy what I do, and I am here to continue to do that. And Hacienda Elm is just an extension of the community aspect that Casa Elm has been creating for the last few years. So, in saying all of that, I want to say thank you to Michelle Watson for being our tea sponsor at Casa. Yes, and her amazing teas of Ingenuity and Spice Company. So here is her website. If you are interested in buying her delicious teas, they do ship within the United States. So feel free to check that out. And then I also want to share with you that we are doing another Black Blossom Wellness and Rest Retreat for those who might be interested. Please feel free to check out our link right here. That's happening next year, March 16th through the 22nd of 2026. And also with my buddy right here with us, we have tickets still available for Dia de los Muertos, and that's just the day pass. Anne Marie's doing a group trip, and we do have day pass just for Dia de los Muertos, which is November 2nd. We will have a full day of events. You can check it out when I drop the link. But if you are in San Miguel, clearly this is for you. The group part of her trip is all sold out. I don't know, I'm not really talking straight tonight, so forgive me. Here's that detail in the chat. And we still have one space available for our November relocation tour. This is a full week. So if you are interested, someone asked me about the tours last week on the chat. You can find more information here. We still have one space available. And if that doesn't work for you, check out all of our events in 2026 are pretty much up on my website, and I'm going to drop that link as well right here, events. And please read. You all ask questions, like someone will ask a question about when is the date of something, and it's like as soon as you land on whatever the link is. Someone asked me about dates for something that I posted in our Facebook group, and when you landed on the home page, the dates were right there, and they literally stopped to write a message that takes longer for me to answer than to look at the website. So just a suggestion to please read, okay? Reading's good for us. Thanksgiving week, as it happens all the time. Thanksgiving, yeah, like it's okay to dig around on the website. Thanksgiving Getaway Week is still available here at Casa. It will be a lot of fun, so here's the link for that. And it has all the details in it. It's a full week, so check out what the start date, end date is, and what it includes, and the cost. I did lower that for the next couple of weeks, so please feel free to join us. And if you're just in San Miguel, I still have 7 seats, I think, or 6 seats available for my Roots and Rhythm Jamaican Thanksgiving brunch, which will be a lot of fun. Okay. Danielle's going to be singing, and we did it last year. It was a lot of fun. We were sold out last year, so we're almost sold out. We still have 6 or 7 tickets left for that, and it's going to be 20. It's 20 total, so get yours. And finally, our October And Emery, if you're on the chat, feel free to drop your party in there because, girl, I don't have that link in front of me. So we'll talk about that in a second. In October, I still have my meetup. We still have, I think, one space for Casa and general admission, a few general admission tickets. And we are actually having a Zoom meeting on Monday night to talk about just a meet and greet for those who already paid and that are planning to come. But if it's something that you're still kind of on the fence about, you can certainly jump in on that. And do you have your link? Because I don't have it. I can,
I don't have it.
okay.
I
Look
mean,
at
it's
her
a local
website.
event. I don't know how many people on here are actually local people.
Well, maybe someone will fly out to do our reggae party. Just saying. I'm just kidding. But listen, because yes, so I just have to say this before we
Michelle
get
is
into
more
our.
excited about this right
I
now than I
am, I am,
am.
because the last reggae party I had and was here at my house, and that was a couple years ago after Thanksgiving, and we had a blast. And I've been saying, oh, I need to do another party, I need to, and I just haven't done one for a lot of different reasons, just busy. And it was, it was fun, but it was just kind of a lot of coordination and work and things like that. And then by the time the party happened, I was already on my drinks and my everything else, and that I wasn't even collecting what we said we're supposed
Money.
to collect at the door, girl. So I'm excited for this because it's happening on, what's the date? October
October
23rd.
23rd,
It's
Thursday,
gonna
October.
be in Central at a really nice place that I really like. It's called Bar at the R, which is inside a place called The Restaurant. That is the name of it. And it's really sexy, very chic. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can get tickets on Anne Marie's website. And I'll just type her website in here, and you can go
They can just go to
again,
events on the website and it'll be right
girl.
there.
I was going to say read and go to the events, and then you can find it there. Okay, so
Read, read, read.
because I get that all the time. I get that all the time. I'm like, it's right there. All right, so those are the things I wanted to share. Yes, I'm very excited about it because I
It's
have
gonna
not
be good.
done Gallon out of. Okay, I'm not going to start singing. Patois. Anyway,
It's
I
your
will be
show.
acting. I'll be acting a fool. That's all I have to say. So don't judge me. I will have a great time, whether there's 5 people or no people. There will be
Well, it's
Michelle and
definitely
Anne
gonna be more
Marie.
than 5 people because the tickets are selling.
Good,
So,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
That's
Look,
amazing. I
that's
love it.
awesome. Okay, so my ring light is acting up, so we're just gonna go with the flow. Anyway, tonight we're talking about
One thing I will throw
sure.
out there is you get there early, there might be a little tutorial,
Oh, what's a tutorial?
a little
Tutorial.
dance tutorial for the people who say they don't know how.
Oh,
And if you wanna know how to dress, call me.
Oh
Gallon
dear.
of Reggie Rider,
Oh
murder.
dear.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just be comfortable. That's what I will say. Be
Yes.
comfortable. Wear something that you can, really
that you
dance
can
and move
sweat
around
in.
in. You
That you
can
can
sweat
sweat.
in, yeah, you can come in your cute shoes because, yeah, we like to do that too, but it's okay to also wear some comfortable
I recommend sneakers.
sneakers. I can't dance great in
I will
sneakers.
be wearing
I
sneakers.
can do boots, like boots, low shoes that are low to the ground. And also, I suggest taking a leave before you go to sleep that night. If you're over 50.
That is also a good idea.
I would have to take a leave since I'm
And take a
65.
nice long nap that day if you
Take a
can. Like take a
nap,
nap that
take a
day.
couple power naps.
Siesta.
Yeah, don't drink too much. Yeah, because you're not 25 anymore. But come out and have a good old time. And I'm talking to myself, by the way. Yeah, but I will be acting a fool because I haven't gotten to act a fool since I was in Jamaica in January. And that was one night, I just went out one night because I was really on my exploratory trip and I really wasn't there to party. But I did have a good time. And it was more of like a beach thing, the person eating fire and all that. I was like, where's the music? I don't want to see this. I don't need a Vegas show, but it was still a good time. So, whatever. Anyway, thanks, Anne Marie, for bringing that to San Miguel. And I think this is the first time that it's a public. I could probably vouch and say this is the very first time that they're having a true reggae dance hall party in San Miguel. So, yeah,
How
you get
much? How much is it?
$20.
$20 to get
I can
in.
afford that. Let me
Yeah.
check the flights.
Okay, come on over, sister, because yeah, that's where we'll be. All right, I want to say welcome to, well, Lisa's comment, boots on the ground, yes. All right, let's get started. Dating in Mexico. Lisa, you go first because you're on top of my screen. Introduce yourself and tell us where you are, how long you've been here, things like that. And then, too, about your business as well.
Lisa Riley. I have been in Playa del Carmen since 2021. I came here with 5 suitcases and a one-way ticket from California, and went back because it was so damn hot. Oh, can I say that?
Yeah, say
It
whatever
was
the
so
hell you
hot,
want.
and got my car and drove my car from Silicon Valley down here to Playa del Carmen 7 days, and it was amazing. No cartel, nada. I created Hermana here in Playa del Carmen. I had a nonprofit in California, 1 degree of separation, Synergy Services, Women of Color. And I decided I wanted to work with the locals. So I started Hermana, female entrepreneurs here in Playa del Carmen in 2022 with at one of the local holistic centers with me and my Mexican amiga. And we do events, networking. I've done a paint event. I do fundraising to give grants, small grants out to small female entrepreneur local businesses here in Playa del Carmen. And now I'm trying to transition into the music space. I have a group I just created called Music for the Soul, where we do conscious music. And so I'm working on putting together like all genres of music, jazz, soul, gospel, and something like you guys are doing. You're already way ahead of the game in San Miguel Allende, so I'm just following you. But I love music. We're missing the music, the soul here, and the gospel music here. And so I'm trying to create that space, but a little bit, a little bit differently in the jungle. I have some
Okay.
friends that live in the jungle, and actually, my ultimate goal is to create a healing space for women in the jungle here in Playa del Carmen and Pueblo Sac Bay. And so I'm collaborating with some people in Pueblo Sac Bay to host. It's beautiful, it's spiritual out there, and it's unique. Nobody's doing that here. And so I have dated here in Playa del Carmen a couple of years ago at 60, what was I, 62?
I don't know, but
67?
we'll get into the dating part and the
Okay,
details. I just wanted you to introduce yourself, and
okay.
then yeah,
Sounds
we'll go
good.
back. We'll definitely go back to your boo boo, your boo
Boo,
thing.
my
Yes, girl.
novia.
You're too novial. Okay, Anne-Marie,
Um, Hi everyone.
welcome
I'm
back.
Anne Marie, known as Ball Girl Will Travel and the anti-HR lady on social media. I'm an avid traveler and a HR consultant. I have a very busy HR practice that I run from San Miguel, where I live. And I also have a travel company where I take small groups of Black women over age 40 all around the world. So I have been in San Miguel since 2021. I started my travel business in 2022 and my HR business in 2022. And so I've been running those two things simultaneously from here. I've taken, I guess, at least 10 groups of women at this point, to different places around the world. I really want to see more Black women over the age of 40, especially those of us who are over the age of 50, embrace life, embrace travel, um, do the things that you want to do because life is short and this is not a dress rehearsal. And and for those of you who are still living in the United States of America, I work with a lot of people who are dealing with hostile work environments, discriminatory hostile work environments, and I help them explore cashing out of those work environments and removing themselves, getting their employers to pay them to leave those work environments so that they can take the money and move to Mexico, perhaps, or
Hmm.
go on a really nice trip, or start a business, or do something that brings them joy, because I do believe that it's important to seek joy in your life intentionally. And that a lot of us spend a lot of time limiting the things that we can do and what we believe that we can do, and whatever you believe is what your life is going to be. So I try to expose people to ideas and experiences that will help them to pursue joy in a very intentional way, whether it's through travel or whether it means getting the hell out of a job or out of a country that's trying to take your peace away from you. So
That
that's a
part.
little bit about me.
That part. Okay, before you go on, what's your, I have your Ball Girl Will Travel. What's the,
My website for my HR business is called it's the www.the-anti-HR-hrlady.com.
the anti-HR hyphen
Yes,
lady.com?
hrlady.com.
Okay. Where's the hyphen? I'm sorry, after anti.
Oh, anti-HR is one word,
Okay,
and hyphen HR lady.
okay, HR lady, got it. Got it. Okay. So if you all are interested in knowing more about that because you're stuck in a hostile work environment, please check her out because I really love the concept. I know you and I have talked about this quite a few years ago when you started it. And I don't know that a lot of people know about it still, even though you are out there. And you also have a channel that is around that. And I believe that that information is also in the description for this video on my channel. So please check it out and feel free
Yeah,
to
you
reach
can follow
out.
me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, the anti-HR. And I also have a following on TikTok. So you can find me on TikTok talking about HR
Okay.
stuff and as well as on my YouTube channel as well.
Okay, just drop that in the live chat. Okay. So, ladies, who wants to go first?
Let's have Lisa go first.
Lisa,
Yeah, because
take the
this is going
wheel.
to be the upside of dating for
And
me.
I'm just gonna sip my wine.
Oh, I need some wine. You didn't tell me to bring no wine.
It's
Anne
called
Marie, you
Wind
got your
Down.
wine?
It's called Wind Down Wednesday, not the wind down that I'll be doing on the 23rd, but this one. Yeah, this one.
Look, I was wine down on Netflix. Anyway, Anne Marie,
It's
also,
okay.
I took a 17, I worked for Lockheed Martin for 17 years and took a layoff package.
Good
That's
for
another
you.
reason why I'm in Mexico.
Good
So
for you.
anyway, so yeah, I dated here in Playa del Carmen back in 2022. Um, and now that I look back on it, it was amazing for me. I know a lot of people have had bad experiences, but when I got here, coming from California, I was depressed. I had taken care of two elderly parents. I felt unattractive. Um, there was no reason for me to be here anymore. I was changing, I was shifting my mindset, and I needed to leave the superficial world that I was in. And so I was really hurting when I got here and looking for a community and a tribe, and subsequently got into having some quiet time for myself because I found everybody was not trying to do the healing work. And I decided I wanted to have some quiet time. And I had a girlfriend that was in one of the local singles groups. And she was like, girl, you need to join this singles group. And I'm like, I'm too old for this. I'm 62, 60 some years old. And she goes, just try it, just try it. And so it was a local WhatsApp group here in Playa del Carmen. And first I met a psychologist, a Mexican psychologist. And we went for a drink, and he was really, really nice. And but there was no chemistry or nothing. Then I found out he was living with another woman. He had all these kids, and I was like,
Wah, wah,
no,
wah.
wonk, wonk, wonk. And so then Miguel popped up in the feed, and we chatted a couple times. And he was kind of cute. He was a little younger, 20 years younger. And we talked one evening, and then I decided, I don't like him. The next day, I go to the mall here in Central Maya Mall here in Playa del Carmen to this Japanese restaurant. And someone goes, hi, Lisa. And I turn around, who knows me up in here, right? I'm looking around. I'm like, who calling me? It was Miguel. And we sat down. He didn't know where I lived. I never discussed where I lived. I never discussed that I was coming to the mall. It was just one of those fluke situations. And so we ended up having a nice lunch, and we started hanging out, going to the beach clubs and having fun and stuff like that. And I needed something at that particular time. I needed some fun. I was a social butterfly in California, and I needed to get back to some of that. And he matched me energetically from that perspective. Like we would go to the beach clubs and go to the cenotes, and he knew where everything was. Excuse me. And we started dating, and we just had a really good time. My heart, I had a hole in my heart from dealing with deaths and stuff in the United States and going on my healing journey. And so he filled some of that, the stuff in the hole, right? And so I remember one time my girlfriend died, and he came home and cooked dinner for me. And another time it was my mother's, the death of my mother. She had died several years before. It was her birthday. He took me to church to light a candle for her. So he did some really sweet things. He cooked, he cleaned. Who wouldn't accept that? Who wouldn't want that, right? So in the beginning, it was like lovely, and we hit it off. And the funny part about it was, I didn't know Spanish and he didn't know English. So we were talking on translator, communicating back and forth on translators, and had our friends translating for us and stuff like that. But it was still a lot of fun. He drove me everywhere I wanted to go. He took care of my car. So the upside of that is Mexicans, they're family. They treat people like family. They're familiar. I needed that in my life, being an only child, being here and playing by myself. I needed the attention and the love and the support. And so he gave me that. His family, I got to meet his family members. We'd eat together, and I was Auntie Tia. And so that was nourishing for my soul. And the flip side of that was, of course, the economic situation, the social economic situation. He had never dated an American woman before. Of course, I made more money than he did. And I wasn't trying to be a sugar mama. And so over time, I realized that we could just be friends because he had expenses. He had never dated a black female American before. And we had cultural differences. Of course, we had language challenges, right, as well. And but I kind of felt, oh wow, in the beginning, he could teach me about the country. He's from Veracruz. He worked for an engineering firm with the Mayan train company. He was a driver, and of course, they don't make a lot of money, right? And so we were running into financial challenges because I was paying. So it got to a point to where that shit got old. But at the end of the day, for me, where I was in my life, on my journey, you know how they say God puts people in your life for a reason. He was in my life for a reason, to nourish my soul. And my girlfriend came and she did a Reggae session with me one time, and she was like, wow, your cortisone is so open. And my heart had been nourished and loved. And so that's the upside. The downside of dating in Mexico is you got to vet people. We know this. And the social economic situation, the cultural differences. But I believe that we can work through it if you find the right person. We don't have to accept anybody, but I believe that there's someone out there for all of us, for you, all of us at a certain point in time. I'm cerebral. I am eclectic. I like worldly things, global things. I talk about a lot of different things. A lot of men don't have that capacity. They don't have the emotional intelligence. They don't have the intellectual capacity to go where I need to go cerebrally. And that's sexy to me. That part is really sexy to me. So that was missing on that level. We couldn't get into intellectual conversations. And so it just depends on what you want and where you're going in your life if you're traveling globally, what your intentions are, like you said before, Anne Marie. So it's a personal choice. I took the good and the bad, and I accepted the good, and I focused on the bad, and nobody's perfect. But I knew that this was not going to be a long-term relationship. But we're still friends today, and his family still calls me on my birthdays and stuff like that. And so that was a win-win situation for me. But I'm encouraging my sisters to at least have an open mind and an open heart if they're ready to at least explore explore with the dating situation, wherever you are. Now, I tell you what, y'all talk about Tinder and stuff. I don't do that stuff. I had bad experiences in the United States, so I prefer to meet somebody through other friends or at a networking event or something like that. I'm not going on an app anymore because I done met some crazy folks in the United States on the dating apps, and I vowed I'm not wasting my time anymore.
Or
So
money.
that's my perspective on dating in Mexico or dating globally. Take a chance, set your boundaries, and enjoy your life because I could die tomorrow. I'm 65 years old. Every day I wake up and I'm thanking God for this opportunity to be here to live my best life. And so that's kind of my perspective today. When Michelle saw me, my feelings were so hurt when I came to Casa because we were breaking up. But now I've had time to process all of that and life be life and got to keep it moving. And so we're still friends. And I enjoyed the time that we had together. And I'm moving on with my life. But give it a chance. Give it a
Or
chance. You don't have to be with somebody forever. I don't have to live with anybody. I don't have to marry nobody. It's my responsibility to myself to enjoy my life and live my best life here.
and there's nothing wrong with that, I think that's why we're here to talk about, that aspect of moving abroad. I think that a lot of people ask the question that they ask because they're curious about whether or not they're going to be able to meet someone within their own race. And I always say, in general, you should be willing, if you're living abroad, you should be willing to meet people who live in that country, that place, that city, that area, or whatever, and not be like so specific or so stuck on things. But there are challenges, as you mentioned. There's the language. I commend you for using Google Translate because, girl, yeah. And I think too, it makes it really difficult to get to really know someone if you can't communicate enough. It's already hard if they speak your language or vice versa, because we're, typically not going to have all the innuendos and get the jokes and all those types of things. That can be challenging. And I've been in that scenario. My first husband was actually from Europe, but fortunately for me, he spoke really good English. But there were a lot of challenges along the way. We were together for a very long time, but there were a lot of challenges in the communication, trying to communicate with his family when I was in Europe and things like that. But you have to be open to all of that. I can say that probably was the relationship where I felt I grew the most as a
Yeah.
person for a lot of reasons. Just as the things that you said you're attracted to, having good conversation, talking to someone who is intelligent, who knows how to, write great sentences and just things like that that may be pet peeves for certain people. I'm definitely one of those people. I think intimacy is also very important, but I also think, you're not spending 24/7 in the bedroom, maybe not after, the honeymoon phase, but after you have time with someone, you want to still have like the interest and attraction. And sometimes that can be difficult if you are not able to really communicate. And so that's definitely something to think about if you're coming here and you're really seeking a relationship. I have several friends that came to Mexico that met someone that they really, really, really cared about, that they're still talking to, still with. Fortunately for them, their guy spoke English and it has been working out splendid. I'm very happy for them. I have several that one's engaged, one got married last year. I'm trying to get her to come on with her boo next week. We'll see. To talk about their experience. I don't want to be all Debbie Downer about everything, but I also think too, you have to go through a lot of nonsense to get to something that is for you. And I think that takes time and effort. And sometimes, because we're going to get to Anne Marie and also myself, just don't have the patience or tolerance or time. I would say for me, it's tolerance and time. And it's not so much directed at dating in Mexico, it's just period in general. So before we get into that, I want to say welcome to Amina. Hi, Miss Delia and Danica. Welcome. Hi, Iona. How are you? And Khadijah says she's loving this topic. Okay, good. Let's keep it rolling. And then I want to go back to just kind of like, the things that you shared and you did after Emery kind of shares her thing. I'll go back to things that you all got to do, Lisa, while you were together
And
with
I want
your.
you guys, I want us to talk about the brothers dating globally too. That's another topic to get into as well.
Yeah, let's do that because, yeah, they're typically dating in other countries,
It's not
but
us.
yeah.
Ah,
Yes, Emery, hit it.
well, as I said before, my life right now, I think is a 10. If someone asked me to rate my life on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, it's a 10. And I try to live my life at a 10 all the time, right? And so and one of the things I was very honest about, I've been in, relationships, I've been in love, I have a kid, all these things. And one of the things I promised myself when I moved here was that I wasn't going to lower my requirements and my standards in terms of what I require for relationships. And, I before we came on, one of the things I said is I have requirements and standards for all of my relationships, not just my romantic relationships. I now have requirements and standards for anyone that I give access to me. And my position is that I do not feel that I should have to lower that in any way in order to be in a romantic relationship with anybody. And one of the things that I've observed is, one of the things I think is very important is comparison is the thief of joy. Never compare your life to anybody else's. And you do not know what is going on inside of any relationship, no matter how great it looks,
Right?
no
True.
matter how good it looks on social media and whatever, especially people who exploit their relationships for social media who always get the side eye from me. Because if I'm ever in a relationship, y'all are not going to see him on no channels. Y'all not going to see him in no videos. Y'all just not going to know about it. You might get a picture of a hand or something, and you probably won't even get that, right? Because I do think some things have to be kept for yourself, and that's just my thing. But I think it's very important for you to be clear about what you want and need in your life and what's important to you as you interact with other humans, whether on a romantic level, your friends, all those things. You have to have requirements, I believe. You have to have boundaries, I believe. And people who follow me hear me talk about boundaries all the time. And so when I deal with men, and I love men, I find them amusing, I find them entertaining. I also find them very chaotic, and I refer to them as disturbers of the peace. And I mean that. And I
Yeah.
like my peace. My peace is very important to me. And the way that I interact with people is how I expect them to interact with me. So I'm a person who, and Michelle knows this, I try to keep my word. I try to do what I say I'm going to do, be where I say I'm going to be, right? Show up for people that matter to me. And I expect the same thing in return. And so I find dealing with men, whether it's dating them here or dating them elsewhere, because I travel a lot and I date when I travel. I love going on dates. I love being taken out and treated like a woman. I'm a very alpha woman, but I like alpha men and I like going out and having men put me in a car and open the door for me and treat me like a freaking woman. And one of the things I like about Mexican men is they're very alpha, right? But I like to be taken on dates. And I want to emphasize the word taken, okay, on dates. And so dating in Mexico to me has its challenges, and Lisa has talked about some of them, because there is a huge socioeconomic gap in a lot of the people that you're going to meet, right, when you go out. And when you go even on the dating apps. And so for me, yes, I'm on the apps, but not really that much nowadays because I don't have time. I don't have the time to even sit and swipe and look at anything. And I'll sit and swipe for like 20 seconds and everybody looks like they just came home from the pokey. And I'm like, I gotta go. Right. And so I like to use Tinder in Europe.
You got me.
I've been out on some really good dates using Tinder in Europe. So I tend to
Nice.
like to use Tinder.
Okay.
I love using Tinder in Italy. Italian men will take you on wonderful dates.
Woo.
Um,
And they are
and I
fine.
and I
They
and they
are
fine as
fun.
hell, but that's beside I require that's to me is not even a discussion. I won't go out with an ugly man. I have never dated an
Sorry,
ugly man
ugly
in my
man.
life. Any
Aw.
man that I have dated has been at least an 8 or above. And I'm not being conceited or anything. It just is what it is. Everyone has their requirements. My requirement has always been if someone was coming into my life and was likely to bring me chaos, I needed to look at them when they were sleeping and be like, God damn. And if I can't do that, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. So, and I have not had any of those problems in this department since I've been here either. But what I will say is, I like to be taken out and I like to do it in nice places. And I'm not taking care of anyone. My goal in life is to never be a nurse, as Gail King said, or and so I find that dating here can be challenging because there are a lot of people looking for purses. And I am not interested. I'm not trying, I don't want to buy you a bear. I don't want to pay for a cup of coffee. I'm not trying to pay for nothing.
Sugar
Okay.
mama? No
You don't want
sugar
to be
mama?
a, you don't
I
want to
ain't
be
doing it. I
a
ain't
sugar
never had,
mama.
I'm
Wait,
not doing it.
what's the word for women if it's not zaddy? What is it for
Sugar mama.
mama?
Sugar
Sugar mama,
mama.
that's
I'm
it.
not trying to do it. And so I feel
Daddy
like
mama.
so wherever you go in the world, men are men. And then you're going to meet the men who are going to be trying to play with you, waste your time. They're easy to see, right? But I feel a lot of men here, they're very nice, they're very sweet, they're very attentive, but they're broke. And I can't date anybody that's broke. So I don't spend a lot of time dating here because if you can't, and I don't ask anybody to do anything for me I can't do for myself. I've been like that for a very long time. But the places that I'm even going to say, let's meet for coffee or let's meet for a drink might be outside of the economic parameters of a lot of the men that I might meet on an app, right? So I do feel that here it really is better to go to social things, to be outside, which I'm doing a lot more of if you have the time, because you're likely to meet a different caliber of person than if
That's
you're on
true.
a dating app, right? And it's not that there aren't men here who have money. I like to tell people a lot of men here have money, but they also got wives and
They got
mistresses.
wives.
You got two girlfriends, a mistress, and a wife.
And
And like
yeah,
I
that's
told this one
trouble.
guy, I have to be mistress number one, the first mistress. I can't be the second or the third mistress, sir. How many girlfriends you got? Right. So, it's all about what you're looking for. I am not looking for a husband at this point in my life. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be I would never say I can't. I would, for the right person. And I believe when the right person shows up, you know when the right person shows up. And so there are things that I would be willing to do. So I never use the word never, but it means that I'm getting the things that I want and my needs are being met and I'm receiving what I need. And I will know when I meet that person and I have not met that person and I'm not sure that that person is in Mexico. They might be in another country and I'm still exploring. So I will let you all know. Well, probably
Absolutely.
I won't
Let's
let
go
you
to
know, but
Scotland.
you probably won't know, but I'm exploring different places.
We'll see his
I'm headed
hand.
to the Netherlands and Scotland next year.
That's
So
what
we
I'm
shall see,
saying.
and back to
Right.
Ireland.
Let
But
us know.
so I shall report back, as I always say. But I do feel like dating here is nice if you're looking for someone who's going to tell you you're beautiful all day long and they're very attentive. But then when the bill comes, the two of y'all might be looking at each other and the bill, right?
Oh,
So, and I see it here. I see women paying for things for men. And I can't do it. It's just, I can't do it. I don't want to be that person. I'm not judging anyone. People should do what they feel that they want to do. But I do feel that you need to understand that when you come here, especially if you're dating using the apps, you're likely to meet people who can't like necessarily take you to the places you're necessarily going to want to go. So if you want to go to those places, you may have to pay, right? And if that works for you, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that's not my thing. So I had went on a very nice date while I was traveling earlier this summer. I went on a couple of dates while I've traveled. I like to date when I'm traveling. And I like dating. I like getting dressed. I like looking nice. I like smelling good and going out on a date and being grown and doing grown shit and then coming home and get on a plane and going back home, right? And so it's all about what it is that you want. And I think it's very important to be honest with yourself about whether or not you, in fact, have room in your life for somebody else, Relationships are work. They don't work themselves. They require work of both people. Do you have the time and the patience to give to being in a relationship with somebody else? And what does that look like for you? Are you willing to live with someone? Do you want someone in your house every day? Do you want to have FaceTime with someone every day? My answer to a lot of those questions are no at the moment. So don't, waste somebody else's time and then get mad because it didn't work when you're not the person who's not ready, right? And then be honest with yourself about like what it looks like to date in different countries. And Mexico is not the only place where some of these things that I've raised might apply. You might be surprised. You might go to Portugal and run into the same thing, right? So be aware that the socioeconomics can be different in different places. And so when you're dating, you need to be clear about, who you're dating and whether that person can make it not just from an emotional and intellectual standpoint from the long haul, but whether they can make it from a financial or socioeconomic standpoint for the long haul, or whether it's just somebody that you're going to have some fun with and meet. And there's nothing wrong with that either. We're grown. We're all grown people, I'm assuming. So, I think it's important to just be honest with yourself about what it is that you want at whatever point in your life you're at, and then being very intentional about going after that and not letting people waste your time. I don't let people waste my time. So, for example, I was talking to somebody I think I met him on Facebook dating, and he was supposed to call me at a certain time, and we were supposed to meet for coffee or drinks or something. I never have a meal with anybody that I just met. We're either having coffee or we're having drinks, and usually we're having coffee. I'll have coffee at 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay. But I'm not going to dinner with you till I have looked you up and down, had a conversation with you, determined whether or not I actually want to sit and have a meal. So that whole debate about coffee, I love a coffee date. I will be the first person to say, meet me for coffee, because I don't want to have a meal with every person I meet. And I'm very big on looking at my phone and being like, oh, I got a text, I gotta go. Oh, look at the time, something came up, I gotta go. Oh, I will get the hell away from somebody really quick
Oh,
at the end of a coffee date, right? So I believe in coffee dates. But we were supposed to meet somewhere at a very particular time. He was supposed to message me. He didn't. I don't put my clothes on or nothing till I know what's happening. I went to bed. This person apparently was calling me and calling me. He's never spoken to me since. You know why? Because you must do what you say you're going to do. If you don't
true.
call when you say you're going to call, you don't have to worry about me, because I don't allow anybody to waste my time. You ain't got to worry about me, because I'm not coming out the house. I'm not doing it. And you will meet a lot of time wasters on those apps, right? But people will tell you very quickly. So it's like you don't need to have a conversation. I don't need to have a conversation to know why you didn't call when you were supposed to, why you weren't where you were supposed to be, because you're never going to talk to me again if you don't call when you're supposed to. And I don't care if the dog died, he ate your homework, your mama died, your grandmama, I don't care. I honestly don't care, because I don't know you and you don't know me. So it doesn't matter. But I think you have to have boundaries and standards. And I think a lot of times some of us tend to lower it when we travel and go abroad and go to places. And so I would say make sure you don't do that. However you choose to date or not date, have your standards and keep them. Don't lower
True.
them. Don't come to another country and start paying nobody's rent and paying for quinceañeras and taking care of people's families when you wouldn't be doing that back home in Arizona. Don't come to Mexico and do that. That's a kind of a synopsis of how I think about it. It's like, don't come over here and let people baffle you with bullshit just because it's in another language and it sounds pretty. Because it'll
Yeah.
happen if you let it.
I agree. I mean, I think, first of all, online dating can be complicated. I know, Lisa, I agree with what you said first with it's better if you can be a little more organic, but I think in this day and age, this is kind of like the thing that people do to get probably to the most people, right?
Mhm.
Especially for those who are a bit older, back in the day, we would go out to dance or go out to a club, and you just anticipated someone's going to come, multiple people are going to come and talk to you. And again, back to time We don't always have time for that. And also where we live, I don't know about Playa, there are probably more access to people, but here in San Miguel, it's a small town. You know, yeah, they're probably dating various people, married, who knows? I'm not sure. I'm not going to judge anyone because I haven't dated in San Miguel. But I can say that it's just a small place, and I know that I've heard of, guys having access to so many women, they're dating multiple people and all that. But what I will say about meeting maybe someone who isn't going to expect you to pay the bill is going out to places where there are going to be people that are more affluent. And there are a lot of those places in San Miguel. So that might be somewhere if you are someone who's looking and out on the prowl, like going to fundraising events, because I've seen a lot of people there that seemingly were single. Doesn't mean they were single, but just saying that might be a place where you can go out and someone would be able to buy you a dinner or your first coffee date and all that, and would not necessarily be looking at you to pay for things. So I think the same applies in the US, for those who are looking to be with, date, maybe marry somebody who is more comfortable from a financial standpoint, is going to those types of places. In San Miguel, there are a lot of things like they have polo matches, vineyards. Sometimes I go to the vineyard and I'm just like, okay, y'all just living real large right now, large and lovely. But yeah, the dating online, I have done the apps in the past, and it's complicated. You almost need like, a guidebook on it, and one of the things that people say often is doing just what you said: go on a short coffee, have a quick drink kind of thing, make sure you're not wasting time. Don't talk forever, don't have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 week long conversations with people if you live in the same place, especially. All these things, I've seen so many stories. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with maybe trying to find someone internationally, but don't put all your eggs in that basket, because chances are, that's going to be complicated too. And I've
But
seen people who get on the plane. No, I'm not saying like if you're going there. I'm talking about having a long distance
dates are
romance
to
with
be
somebody
had.
that you haven't met in person yet. That's what I'm talking
Don't
about.
do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, because I've seen those stories and I'm just like,
Don't do
what,
that.
what, what? Yeah, it sounds
But
crazy.
if
But
you're
what were
traveling, that's a really a great way to see a place you've never been is to
true,
line up some dates.
true.
Okay?
Okay, so tell us how
Really
this
great
works,
way.
Anne Marie, on
Well,
dating.
you change your location. Like if Tinder has a thing where you can it's called Global Pass or something, and you can put yourself in the place you're going to before you even get there.
Okay,
And so you can get to see men from that city, from London or Florence or Rome or Venice or wherever you're going, right? Dublin, Glasgow. I'm looking at Glasgow right now because I just wanted to see what Glasgow had to offer. But you can line yourself
wait,
up.
wait, 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 wait. What does Glasgow have to
It
offer?
has a lot from what I can
Yeah.
tell. And
Okay. I hope they're
you can see
taller.
what Glasgow has to offer. You can start having conversations with people, right? And you can like find out places to go, things to do. Oh, I will like find out all kinds of stuff because I want to know, like, tell me some off the beaten path things. Tell me some things when your friends come to visit. What do you tell them to do? That kind of stuff. And you can get to know someone by the time you get there. You can have some dates lined up,
That's
right?
your advanced networking, your
You ain't
advanced
there for a
dating
long time,
networking.
but you're there for a good time. So have a good time. You know what I'm saying? You're not going, And I'm
Sure.
very straightforward with people. I'm only going to be here for 7 days, right? And so you can have dates lined up. You can go meet someone at a museum. You can go meet
True.
someone. You can kill two birds with one stone. You can do a lot of things in a week in Florence. I'm just saying, I'm here to tell you, actually. I'm just letting you know. There's a lot of fun to be had in lots of different places by just doing that one thing, right? But again, I'm not looking for a husband. I'm looking usually for a good looking tour guide. And so I think that it's an easy way to get to know a new place, as well as to meet people. And I mean, and I'm talking to multiple people, and I'm not meeting anyone at night. Again, I'm going to have coffee initially, or I might meet you outside of a museum or meet you outside of an exhibit or something like that, right? So I think, because, safety first at all times. You all have heard me talk about this on my platform, safety first. But you can be talking to someone for a good 2 or 3 weeks before you even get there. Um, and getting to and asking questions about places, and you can gauge people, right? But I think Michelle is right. I mean, I'm not sitting and talking back and forth on a Tinder app for 2 or 3 weeks. I may end up talking if I like the person, because I ask people very pointed questions, and I can determine whether they're an idiot or not inside of two exchanges, right?
Right. When they can't
Because I always
spell.
tell, and I tell people straight up, if I want to see your penis, I'll ask for it. Don't ask me, I'll ask
I
you.
know,
Oh,
so
I
If
like that.
I want to
obnoxious.
see it, I'll ask you. So don't
Yeah.
ask, don't offer.
I
Okay?
think there's a new Emery. There's a new what you guys? What's the Jewish? What was that Jewish show? The
Speed
dating
dating?
show.
Oh,
She was
I don't know.
Jewish, like a Jewish mother or Yetza or something.
Oh,
Where in the Jewish community they have matchmakers.
mm.
They have older women, and I'm like, with us moving globally, especially the women, Black women, moving globally, especially now with the politics in the United States, and there would be an opportunity for some type of global networking, dating concept or app for somebody to develop. That would be freaking amazing. Like you're going to all these countries and you're already pre-vetting the space and the people and the activities anyway. Why not add on a mixer for
God, I don't
dating
have
or
that
something
kind
like
of
that?
time. I'm not trying to do it. Well, I'm not going to do
I'm
that for
not
anyone.
saying
You mean
you, I'm
someone
throwing
in
it
the
out.
country?
I'm throwing
There
it out
might
there
they
in
might
general, the
exist.
potential of creating that. I mean, I'm always thinking of, filling in the gaps in new
They might
innovative
exist
ways.
already in some places.
Yeah,
I
that would
wouldn't
be
be surprised if they
amazing.
do. But
That would be
I mean,
amazing.
I go places. I don't. I go places a lot solo. So sometimes I go into groups to find out about things to do. But I actually enjoy meeting men in different countries and having them show me places. It depends on the country. But I think that it's an easy way to learn about a place and to also meet new people at the same time. And you can do the same thing in Mexico, to be honest with you.
Actually, true.
And I do think that going out on coffee dates or even meeting someone for a drink during happy hour is very low cost. So it doesn't put any financial pressure, especially in Mexico, on the person you're meeting. And it also doesn't put any pressure on you if you end up getting stuck with the bill. I'm just saying. But I've been on coffee dates and drinks here, and I've never paid, right? But I also can gauge just by someone telling me what they do for a living here in Mexico. I have a good sense of what people make here. And so I can tell whether or not that person, you know, makes a lot of money. And I'm not going to put a person in the position to see being out with me as a burden, and I'm not going to do it to myself either, right? So I have people that I'm friendly with, but I would never date them. You get what I'm saying here?
Hmm.
Because I understand what the socio economic difference is between the two of us, right? And so I think it is a thing, as Lisa said, that you have to be aware of here when you're dating, because it is a thing. And as Michelle said, if you want to meet people that are more affluent, you have to put yourself in spaces. And there are a lot of spaces in San Miguel and in major cities like Mexico City,
Hmm.
Querétaro, places like that,
I agree.
to meet people who are at a more equal socioeconomic level that you are. They are definitely in the country, but when you're on the apps, you're probably not going to meet those people on apps. You're not
True.
going to meet those people on apps. You
Definitely
have to
not
be
on
outside.
Tinder.
Mm-mm.
You're going to have to be outside.
I think regionally too, looking at the social economic status, like San Miguel Allende draws, let's talk about Americans, American retirees, some are married, some are single, military people. Playa del Carmen is more of a touristy town where people are in and out. It's transient, right?
Mhm.
So people come in here to party, have a good time, get laid, or families, right? We know Merida is a family community, right? Mexico City is industry and a lot of big business in Mexico City. And what's the other city? Querétaro.
Querétaro,
Querétaro.
Querétaro, which is
I
not
can
far
never
from.
pronounce it. That's another base as well for a lot of Americans that are relocated and might have a higher social economic status. So that would be another fun thing to create like a study of the cities where there's a higher social economic status where people can go and date and that people can plan their visits to Mexico, single women or single men, whatever, around those criteria. But we know for a fact, segueing into black men, when black men travel abroad, they're not interested in dating black women.
Mm-mm. They're not.
And
And
so,
I'm not interested in dating them. I just want to put that out there too. So I
but
just
some of
think,
us come here, we are looking to date
yeah,
black
but
men.
some of us are. And I think that's an important thing for people to understand is because I had someone ask me that and I was just so baffled by the question because I was like, why am I going to come? To me, it's like coming to Mexico and eat McDonald's. I'm like, I don't want no damn McDonald's. I want tacos and enchiladas. I ain't
It's a
eating no
mindset,
damn
but
McDonald's.
it's a mindset.
But
People,
it is
we
a mindset thing.
shifting our minds to a global perspective. You already have that mindset. A lot of us don't when we come here. And so, and then they're having a rude awakening too, right? Oh, I want to find a man.
Well, you
Yeah, they
can't
do
have a
not want to
rude
date. They're
awakening
not
in a
dating American women
country.
when they come here.
No, not only that, I just think moving abroad is moving abroad. It should not be necessarily around who can, like dating per se. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have access to that, but wanting to maybe stay within your race when you're clearly not in a country that's not a black country in the sense of what we're used to and where we're coming from. I just feel like that's very limiting beliefs, mindset, and all the expectations are way, way, way high. And that might not be very realistic. Now, if you're moving here and you're kind of open to the experience, as Lisa said, you had a time where you needed this and it met your needs, from an emotional standpoint and all of those types of things. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Just like Anne-Marie said, we're all grown-ups. We can do things, live our lives however we're living them. But coming and moving to Mexico and just kind of like, I only want to date a black man. I think that you can find some, but I can say that it's a definitely a more difficult task, especially if you're not in maybe even a expat heavy place. I think you just have to be really open to whatever. Now, doesn't mean you're settling. It just means, or yeah, or bring your man with you.
Yeah, I
That's
have
another
no
option.
idea where anyone would meet black men in Mexico. I can't even answer that question. I guess you might find some on the apps. I just for me, I moved here knowing that this was a majority, it's a Mexico. So I wasn't expecting, but I didn't come here to date. So that's another thing.
Same.
Dating to me is kind of peripheral thing, but it's not a central thing to my being here at all, at all, at all. Um, and so for me, it's not like a major thing that I gave a lot of thought till I got here and was kind of like settling in. And I've dated and I still do, but like I said, it's not something that I always have a lot of time for, but I do find that now that I'm trying to be out more because I'm not traveling as much this year. I do travel a lot, so that impacts even how much I'm in San Miguel to even do social kinds of things, but I'm trying to do a lot more social things because that's how you meet people, period. And
Yeah.
I'm not doing it to meet men. It's just a nice way to meet people that live here who are outside of the expat bubble and outside of, the immigrant bubble here. And that's a way to meet people, period. So if you're interested in dating, going out, like looking at the calendar of events and finding out what live shows are playing, what bands are playing. There's a lot of big entertainment scene here. A lot of bars, a lot of restaurants. There are always events happening. As Michelle said, they're fundraisers, they're different things, and the holiday season is coming. So those are things to consider if you are coming into a new country to kind of join groups, tap into like how to find out about social events in the city that you're planning to visit or you're checking out so that you don't have to be on the apps to meet people, right?
True.
Or take yourself to a damn happy hour and look cute and sit at the bar. It works in America, it works here too. Went to a bar
Yeah.
the other night. I was waiting for somebody. I wasn't even sitting there for 2 minutes before somebody sidled up next to me. with his pidgin English and my pidgin Spanish, and we were talking. So, you know, just go outside, put some
How did
lipstick
he
on and go
look?
outside.
That's what
And,
I
You
and
know,
want to
look
know.
and look
How
gorgeous.
did he look?
he was fine. He was too young. So I was kind of
Oh,
like, okay, kiddo.
what's too young? Let's talk about that because
I try
that's
not to go
trending.
younger than 15 years. I have a 15-year rule. They can't be more than 15 years younger than me. That's just my thing. Because as Lisa said, I'm a highly, you know, and I'm not saying this to be conceited. I'm just saying it because it's
Right.
true.
I
I'm
get
a
it.
highly intelligent person.
Absolutely. Cerebral. Yeah.
And so I like to have a lot of fun. As Michelle knows, I like to talk a lot of shit, but I'm a very intelligent person. And so you know, I don't want to sit and talk about foolishness, right? But you shouldn't assume always, right? Because I was dating this guy briefly. He was fine as hell. And you know what? We ended up laying in bed talking about Russia for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
What
And
about
I wasn't
Russia?
expecting him to know as much as he knew about the world, but not just the world, but about, you know, the Soviet Union
The
and vision
history
of the Soviet
and the
Union, Russia, and all these
politics.
things. Um, so you just never know until you start communicating with somebody. Like, and he was how much younger than me? He might have been 20 years younger than me. But I didn't go into that expecting it to be a thing. I was having
Having
fun, and he
fun.
knew that before he even showed up. He knew that it was what it was. But I think that I need
I'm ready.
somebody that I can actually have those kinds of conversations about with.
I didn't call you to
And so I like
talk.
people
I
that
didn't
read
call you to
books
talk.
and know things. You know what I
I
mean?
didn't call you to
I'm
read a
saying,
book. I called you to just
so that's
perform. That's
kind of why
it.
I have the age
We can
gap
talk about
requirement that I
Russia
have.
maybe after, but not
Michelle has a
much.
different agenda, Anne
It was
Marie.
pillow talk. We were talking about Russia as
Pillow
pillow
talk.
talk. It was
Hey,
fun.
Anne Marie, you can only have so much sex. It's like, let's switch on the brain now. Because, it's like,
But what's funny is
I'm
that
like,
he
you can
asked me
go.
the
You can go
question. I
now.
didn't
You
ask
can
him
go
the
now.
question. So that's what really took me aback was when he asked me,
interesting.
"Oh, what do you think of such and such?" And I was like, "Oh," and I told him what I thought, and he was telling me, you know, I was, you know, reading this book and I was watching this show and blah 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 blah
Wow.
blah. And I was like, "Who the hell are you?" You know?
Are you still friends?
Yeah, we're still friends.
Good.
That's cool.
That's a good conversation. What's the youngest? I don't know. I did 20. I don't know. I might go back to 15. Again, it depends on the mental capacity for the most part because you have to keep my interest in and Anne Marie, you guys were talking about Ireland. I dated a Brit engineer. This is in the States. Oh my God, from Bristol,
Mm.
and he was 6'4". Of course, he had money. We had an amazing. So that was like 20 years ago, and that really opened up my eyes to dating outside of my race because that's another story. But I just didn't. I didn't trust men in the United States.
No, I had a Brit story too. It was a lot of fun. I used to travel a lot, so you know, gotta have a port in the storm. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But
Well, and
you
my
know,
guy was
you
pretty
know,
good too.
and he, I mean, he was yeah, he was fine. He was very, very fine. And a lot of fun actually. He was a lot of fun. But I think you have to have an open mind, like Lisa said. And I date internationally. I don't the only of men that I'm particularly not that keen on dating is American, like white American men. I don't see myself dating a white American man anytime soon. But outside of that demographic, and I wouldn't say never, but they would have to be one hell of I can't even imagine.
Global, have a global perspective.
I
Have
can't,
you
they'd
been
have to
around the
be very
world?
global, very
Yeah.
like, I don't see it happening, but I'm pretty open outside of that. Because my requirements now are, you know, if I meet, the minute I meet a white American, I want to know who they voted for in November 2024. I want to know now I want to know their opinion on the recently deceased racist,
Run.
you know, unrepentant racist, misogynist, white supremacist, Christian nationalist that got taken out on September 10. I got questions,
That's
right?
true.
And most of them are not going to give me acceptable answers because my questions. I met a guy for a drink at a bar in Puerto Vallarta. This is the last time I even entertained going. And we met for a drink at this bar I was going to be at anyway. And he starts talking to me, and by the time that conversation was over, that man looked like he was going to have a stroke.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Because
Too
again,
powerful.
he
Powerful.
he could not handle the truths
Powerful.
of his about his country. He was American, and I'm going to tell it like I think it is. And I always tell, I tell white men, and especially white American men, I tell them when they meet me, I am Malcolm X Black. Take that however you want to interpret it, but believe me when I tell you, that is what I am. And I'm not going to candy coat anything for your comfort. And so, he started talking about, the state of America. And I had to break it to him that America, what I thought America was, and why it was the way that it was, and why it was not any surprise to anyone who was paying attention that things were happening. And this was this was before 2024.
Well,
That poor guy, after he left, because he had to get the hell away from me, I was just sitting at the bar chuckling,
Drinking your
just
cosmos.
laughing and having my drink and laughing because he looked like a deer, but he looked like a deer in headlights. He didn't even know what to do. Right.
run.
So because
Poor baby.
I'm not gonna, I never, hide the things that I know. I don't dumb myself down for anybody. I don't dilute myself for anybody. And it's an easy way to weed people out because regardless of what your personality is, everyone is not for you and you're not for everybody. And that's okay. And
That's
so you
true.
don't do yourself any favors, especially at this point in my life, to dilute yourself or try to pretend to be somebody, cosplay somebody else for somebody's comfort, right? And I had the exact same conversation with a Italian man who was my tour guide. He was lovely. He
They
was my
all
tour guide,
are.
but ended up I was the only customer for the whole day. So he drove me all around the southern Italy countryside, and we had some of the best conversations I've had with a man. And there was nothing romantic came out of it, but it was a really cool day with really great company and someone that thought that I was hilarious. And apparently he was talking to his other customers about me for the rest of the time because he asked me to drinks and I met some of them. And they were like, oh, you're the woman he's been talking about. But we just had the best conversations. And he just thought I was just fascinating and interesting and all of these things. But I didn't dilute myself any more than I did for the guy in Puerto Vallarta. It was just that one of them could handle it
And the
and
other
the other one
couldn't.
couldn't. And so you want a man. I always say, if a man tells you that you're too much, you need to find a man with bigger hands. Don't
True.
make yourself smaller. Find yourself a man with bigger hands.
True
I say
that.
my
True
man
that.
is in the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
He's out there somewhere, but it's going to be a challenge. And I'm just going to sit back and let the universe take care of it because I'm not.
And
I'm
that's the
here.
thing
I
in
mean,
life.
how do
Everybody
you
doesn't get to
hold
find their
on?
person in this
How,
world. Everyone
yeah.
has one, but everyone is not lucky enough to find their person. The people who get to meet their person in high school, like my cousin's about to marry this kid she's known since middle school. They've been together now for like 8 years, but they met in middle school. That's so rare, right?
That's true.
And it's beautiful, but it's so rare, right? And so for people who meet the person who really is their person, because there are a lot of people running around with a person they say is their person who actually ain't their person, but that's a conversation for another day. But for the people who actually do, it's very rare, and not all of us are going to get that opportunity. But that don't mean you can't have some fun while you're waiting for them to get here.
Absolutely.
True. So, how do you all handle language barriers? I know you mentioned using Google. Do you always find, because you're the one that's kind of doing a little bit more internationally, do you find that most of the people you're communicating with speak English?
I require
Or,
English.
yeah,
I can't, I
okay.
don't have the patience for and that's a big barrier even here because I can do it for a little while, but because of the kinds of conversations I like to have, it's very difficult. I mean, it's great when I get to practice my Spanish, but I prefer someone that speaks English. They doesn't have to be perfect English, but I need them to speak and understand English because it makes it very difficult. Like you said, it's hard to really get to know someone. Like if you really want to get to know someone, if you don't speak the same language. It's hard. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder because there's just a lot of nuances and things and like humor and different things, that context of things, that I think it just becomes more difficult if you don't speak English. So that's one of the reasons why I like to do what I do with Tinder in advance, because I'm also trying to find English speakers.
Yeah.
And so everyone I've been out on dates with speak English because in Europe and even in Asia, unlike Americans, people learn English in elementary school,
Yeah,
See,
that's
right?
true.
And so I have not really had a lot of difficulty meeting men who are speak English really, really well. Um, in on the continent of Africa. Don't sleep on Africa, y'all, by the way. On the continent of Europe, you will find a lot of it. I was just in Poland. Poland has some beautiful ass men, geez, and ages, and they're tall. One of them, I swear, he looked like a Viking. My God, today
I like a
oh
Viking.
my God, he had the ponytail and the whole thing. I just was like, good grief.
I like a ponytail and a man
And he was
bun.
like over 6'4". I was like, I would have climbed that man like a tree. My
Uh-oh.
had to drag me in the opposite because I was like, oh my God. Like they make them big over there.
I love
But
it.
they speak English. You know what I mean? Not everyone, but there a lot of them do. A lot of people speak English because they learned it like in elementary school, especially in Europe. Like
and
when
And
we
you
they want
go
to
don't.
practice,
to,
and they want to practice.
and
They
they want to
also
practice
want
it with you. So
to
that's the other thing.
practice.
But
Yes.
and I just find men there, they like I was telling Michelle about this the yacht cruise I went on. Like, was that last year? I think it was last year. And I'm telling you, and all these little boys, I mean, they were little boys to me because anyone that makes me think of my son is a little boy to me. But I'm telling you, I was batting these little boys off like flies. It was ridiculous, right? But I loved it because it was like they want to buy, it's like they want to take you to dinner, they want to do this, and they were all European. They were Italians, they were Dutch, a couple Germans, Croatian. It was great. So I just think you should have an open mind when it comes to dating.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? Just
Sure.
don't tie yourself that it has to be any particular thing because you'll be surprised, right? That somebody will slide up next to you at a bar and you'll have the most amazing conversation with
This
them.
is true.
You know what I
This is
mean? And
true.
it
But
doesn't mean that it has to last forever. I always tell
no,
people, I told this man, I'm not here for it's my motto. I ain't here for a long time, but I am here for a good time. You gonna show me a
but
It's
good
true.
time?
Anne Marie, I
So,
think that Black women are an anomaly too when you go into a lot of these international spaces as well, especially highly educated, articulate Black women. I mean, we're already an anomaly, but we know we're queens, right? But we're coming into this international thing, and we're like, whoa, this is different because the men love us, but you still have to be able to weed them out and set boundaries, like you said, and stuff like that. But I think it's beautiful to be able to, especially solo. I don't like to go solo, right? That's just me. But you guys are out there going solo to these different countries. My girlfriend yesterday just left for Turkey
oh my
to go meet
God,
a
the men in
relative.
Turkey are
Fine.
beautiful.
I watched the
Fine,
Oh
fine.
movies.
my God, they're
I watched the
beautiful.
Turkish movies
Yes.
on Netflix. So I
Like
was like,
really,
I can
really
say the guys in Turkey
attractive.
and Italy, yeah, they're
Turkish men
fine.
are like next level fine. They really
Yes,
are. It's
they
like
really are.
they
Dark
they they are
skin.
they are quite attractive. Turkish
Yes,
men, Italian
yes,
men are
absolutely.
very, and Croatian men. My God, today
I
Croatian
haven't seen
men, and they
Croatian.
are big. I like big men. I'm
I
only
like
fun.
them.
I
Yes,
like tall,
yes.
corn-fed,
See,
6'4" and above
She said
type
corn-fed.
men, and um,
That's
they some
funny.
big boys in Croatia. They got a
Mm,
lot of basketball. They have a lot. They produce a lot of basketball players, right?
interesting.
And they are very big guys there, and they're very charming. They're very sweet. But I think you should be open to having fun. Life is for living and enjoying, and not sitting waiting. But I really think you have to put yourself out. You have to go outside, get off the phone, get off the laptop,
Right.
wash your
Off
face,
social.
comb your hair, put some clothes on, and put some red lipstick on, and go outside.
I
That's
don't
my
want to go
advice. Get on a
outside.
plane,
I don't want to go
travel.
outside.
When you go
I
solo, don't sit in
travel.
the hotel room. Go on.
Yes.
Another thing is go on tours. Like book yourself on tours, and you will meet new people just by going out by yourself. You don't have to go by yourself. Book excursions, and you will meet other people that way as well, right? If you're
True.
afraid to go out by yourself at night, go during the day and you'll make friends. I mean, I've made lots of friends just on tours that I've been to. And then you'll have someone to hang out with that night. You might meet other
Absolutely.
women, Like
I
on
have,
one tour when I was in Italy, I met this other woman. She is newly divorced, or either she had just gotten divorced or she had just broke up with her boyfriend she'd been with forever. But we went out. I helped her like pick a guy on Tinder that she ended up going out on a date with. We went out for we had dinner together. We had a good old time. She was from the Netherlands, right? So you'll meet, we were both the single people in the group that we were on that day. And then she asked me if she could come with me for drinks. Because I don't know why people always gravitate. Because I'm gonna be outside. I'm not paying thousands of dollars to go somewhere and then sit in a hotel room. So she was like, well, do you have plans? I'm like, yes, I have dinner reservations at this restaurant. I would take myself to dinner. I would take myself to multi-course dinners.
Same.
Because what are you going somewhere for if you're not going to see things? And so she was
explore.
like, can I tag along? Sure. Right. So you can meet people just by going on a tour, going out, and just putting yourself out there. Same thing in the US. It applies wherever you go, right? If you want to meet people, the best way to meet other people, whether they're men, women, whoever, is to take yourself outside. Get off the computer, get off those dating apps, go outside.
Even
That's
in
true.
the Facebook expat groups, people are coming to town and saying, "Hey, where's this? Where's that? Where's that?" And they end up meeting people for dinner. They have dinner groups here. They do all kind of networking events. But I have a premonition for Casa in the future. Michelle, you're going to be hosting international dating night for San Miguel Allende, and you're going to invite men from because Anne Marie is going to go out and make all these contacts, right? You're
Am
going to
I?
invite men from Africa and Croatia and Italy coming into Casa once a year. You're going to have
That
a once
sounds
a
real
year event.
trifling right
But
now.
there's one thing I want to
Okay,
mention, though,
that's okay.
Michelle, that I think is important
Anything is
because this
possible.
there's one thing I
It's
want to
true.
mention because I think it's very important to mention it is being careful that you're not being fetishized because Lisa talked about, they love us and whatever.
That
But
part.
I think because there's a lot of that out there, right? And even when you're traveling, you're dating, you especially if you're looking for something real. It's really about what you're looking for, right? But if you're looking for something real, you want to be making sure that I'm not interested in being anybody's first anything. Okay? If you're serious about being in a relationship with someone, I don't want to be the first black girl you ever dated. I might be the first bald black girl you ever dated, but I can't be the first black girl you ever dated, right?
That part.
And I understand because I'm bald and I'm a black woman, I am very thoughtful about my interactions with people, especially online, because some of these men are looking for some bald black woman to give them a spanking. I'm just being blunt. And
See, it's true.
maybe if you ask me really nicely, but probably not, right? And so there's a lot of fetishizing happening, and especially here in Mexico, there's a lot of it. Some of them they've never known a
Yes.
black woman, they've never even seen one up close. They've,
Right.
whatever. And so you want to make sure that you're not going to be going out with somebody who is just wants to go show you around to their friends, like the new dog they got or the new, pair of shoes they bought or something. So you have to ask questions and interact with people in a way that you're picking up on whether or not, you know, I straight up ask people if they've ever, and if they say no, then it's not even coming, it's not going beyond that because I'm not interested in
I
being
hear
anybody's
that.
close to
I
anything.
hear that. So Lisa wants to know, how are the Canadian men in SMA? I
They're free.
really
Oh
don't
no.
know.
They're
I
married.
don't know.
They
No,
come,
they're not.
Lisa,
Not
Yeah,
all of them are, but
most
not
a
of
lot of
them
all,
them are just
but
down here
here.
wasting people's time.
A
I
lot of
don't
them here
know
are married
because,
or they come with their wives and they invest in land. That's what I've seen so far. But yeah, they have some
yeah,
single ones.
I don't know that I can say that there's a distinct group
Mhm.
of men from Canada in San Miguel. Just to
They're
answer
here.
your question, I know they're here, but I'm saying it's not like, oh, okay, there's a group of, Canadians over here and this and that. The ones that I've met, because I'm also Canadian, they are married. And there's one that I know of that's not married. And he's actually really nice gentleman, amazing. He has a beautiful house. I cooked a dinner for a party he had a couple months ago, and I dropped it off some Jamaican food because he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you made Jamaican food. I used to buy Jamaican food when I lived in Canada," and yeah, just really, really sweet. So that's really my interaction. I don't have a lot to contribute to tonight because I honestly have not dated, and it's just like I said, right now I don't feel like I want to put in the work. But another conversation, question, well, comment was someone said what you're talking about, Anne Marie, Viators are great and safe excursions for different countries, or they offer that, especially when you're traveling alone. I think that that's a great suggestion. Even
Fighter's
here in
great.
San Miguel, like if you're here for maybe your first few months and you want to meet people, some of those people on the tours probably are just visiting, but you'll still get to meet people in general. I say there are a lot of places in SMA, for example, and I don't go to these places very often, but Mercado Sano, the organic market, has a huge following of people who show up on Saturday to buy their organic goods. And you can speak to many of people there. A lot of people will literally just start talking to you. If you go to certain places in Centro as well, you can also meet a lot of people if you're working. Like, for example, if you go to Hanks, I always use that as my example because when I first came to San Miguel, I went to Hanks and yeah, waiting for a seat, sat at the bar and people just start talking. And I think for me, that was like kind of a shocker coming from Florida and the United States where we're not that social in regard to people we don't know. And it was really beautiful. And I think that was one of the things for me that helped me decide that SMA was a good place for me to move to because I didn't feel that it would be difficult to integrate with the community in San Miguel. Now, I don't really go to those places as much as I used to because I know of other places that I really enjoy going to where typically you're going to see more locals. And they also will try to talk. If they speak English, a little bit of English, they will definitely try to talk to you. So just going out, being comfortable going outdoors, definitely always being safe and things like that. And if you are going out on dates, on a dating app, definitely meeting in public places, keeping it short, keeping it brief, getting the details, maybe getting like their info, telling somebody who you're meeting, where you're going, things like this, just to make sure you're safe, especially as women and as females. So yeah, anything else you all want to add about like any experience that you want to say this was really, really funny, was great, or was terrible? I don't
I would
know.
just say, I think everything Michelle said is very, very true. I am a big fan of the coffee date, as I said, and I'm a big fan of meeting people in the daytime, even if it's like, say, 4 o'clock or something like that. But I don't meet anybody I've never met before at night. And I think that's applicable no matter where you are in the world or whether you're in the US or you're traveling or whatever. That's why coffee shops are great. That's why happy hour is great. Aperitivo in Italy is a great time to meet people. Aperitivo. Let's go have aperitivo. But I always say have a good time, but take your brain with you. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you, right?
Yeah.
And if you feel anything is off, don't go. I have not shown up for many, many things because just something didn't feel right. Something the person texted or said or did something didn't feel right. And I will appear and disappear really, really fast with people. People talk about ghosting. I am the queen of ghosting people. I'm sorry, but I am a ghoster. If anything doesn't feel right to me, I will ghost you. If you say the wrong thing to me, I will ghost you, right? So it's like follow, we have instincts as women, right? Follow your intuition, listen to your intuition. But if you want to meet people, especially when you're traveling or you're coming to a new place, you have to go outside and you have to they have San Miguel has like San Miguel Live where you can go and follow it and you can see all like different nightlife and events and live bands. There's San Miguel has a jazz festival that
Festival.
ongoing events and learn to enjoy your own company. That's the other thing.
Exactly.
It is
Yes.
incredibly important if you want to live a happy and fulfilled life that you must like yourself and you must enjoy your own company. And if you
Right.
enjoy your own company, you can go anywhere in the world and have a good time.
This
I
is
love
true.
myself and I like being one of my favorite children's books that I used to read my son. I love myself. I'm glad I'm me. There's no one else I'd rather be. And
That's so
so
cute.
if you enjoy your own self and enjoy being with yourself, you can go anywhere. People will notice it. right? So go
Absolutely.
out, go to karaoke. I go to karaoke by myself.
She does,
I go
because
to
you
the
like to
movies by
sing.
myself. I like going to dinner by myself. I actually get annoyed when people come up and ask me if I want to come sit with them. No, I don't. I don't want to come sit with you. I want to
Gotcha.
sit with
Nice.
me.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be outside to meet people, right? And then someone that's interesting might come up to you and ask you to come join them for dinner, like a nice handsome man. I've had that happen. And then you say yes, right? If you want, you look him up and down, and if he looks good, and you go have a drink with him or go sit and have dinner, right? But it's like that's not going to happen if you don't put yourself out there. So that's the number one thing is that you have to be willing to put and you don't need your girlfriends and all these things that people, don't go through their whole
Yes.
lives not experiencing things because they're waiting for someone else to go.
Well, that's the point I wanted to add on is, I've always been very comfortable from way back going out by myself, movies by myself, going traveling by myself, driving from when I lived in Connecticut to wherever. I used to drive to Maryland to hang out with my girlfriend or go to New York by myself and all the things. And I'm going to say this because there were so many people along the way who said, "Oh, when you go, I'll go with you. And when you're ready, let me know." And if you wait for those people, you'll never experience those things. So it's important that one, if you are relocating, you are moving abroad or anything along those lines, and you are single, whether you're female or male watching this, is that you have to be comfortable to be outside. Doesn't mean you need to suddenly be an extrovert. It just means that for you to connect with other folks, if that's what you're looking to do, that you have to be comfortable with who you are, comfortable asking questions, especially when it's a foreign language in another country, to just kind of move around in safe circles and safe spaces. I think that we're not going to experience as much if we're kind of like afraid to do things. Now, it doesn't mean that you should do everything alone if that's not your personality type, but understanding that for you to find those connections, sometimes you may have to start that journey by yourself, and it's okay. More likely than not, you're going to be fine. You're going to connect with people, especially, I have to say this, in Mexico and expat heavy cities. One, the locals typically are used to seeing us, so it's not like some ooh ah. And two, you're gonna find people out there that speak your language, whether they're local from some other continent or they're Mexican, and they're probably gonna be curious about you. They wanna know where you're from and things like that. And it's always nice to have like those conversations, to strike up those conversations. So get out the house. I'm also guilty. Most of the time I don't go out because a lot of times I just don't really feel like it, and I feel fine staying home and hugging my pillows and chilling. However, there are a lot of things to do outdoors, outside, and I when I do go out, I definitely I like to pick and choose. Like I said, we were going on and on and on earlier about the reggae party, and there's another party by the same DJ, but it's going to be more, I guess, R&B focused. I'm excited about those things because that's not something I get to experience here.
Right.
But all the things that I have experienced in these 7 years, I'm very choosy now about what I do and where I go. But it's not because I'm afraid to go alone. It's just, I'm sometimes just like, I just don't feel like going outside. Um, but definitely there's always someone to meet. So I want to say welcome really
And
quick to Pamela and Zawadi and Diane. There are quite a few comments in here. I kind of just highlighted the ones where there were more questions. Um, Pamela said this was a conversation she didn't know she needed tonight. Diane said, I'm very comfortable going out by myself. I hear that, sister. And yeah, basically, we have to enjoy spending time with ourselves. That is the key to being happy, having joy, and things like that.
I
Or
just want to
just
add
getting
too,
ahead.
this is a beautiful country. And this is an opportunity for us to learn about the different culture, the Afro-Mexicans, the indigenous, the Mayans, the history, because our history is, we have a lot in common with this country. There are primos and primas. And as I've gotten older, I just turned 65 this year. And as I got older, I don't like to go out unless I'm hosting an event like you guys, you host your events. I will go out for my events, but unless I have something specifically planned, I'm not going to go out. But the galleries are amazing. The Pentors, the museums, they have theater, they have classical music. I mean, there's some amazing, amazing stuff. And the healing music, they have the healing music, the conscious music that I participated in. And so you can meet a date at one of those locations, right? But
True.
get out, learn the country. Don't be, insecure about you don't speak Spanish. It takes time. Pull out your translator. Get you an amiga or hermana to go with you, or a fine man to go with you and do some translations. But this is a beautiful country. Explore the country, and people will be there to support you and help you grow in the space here. So that's my 2 cents, and that's what I love about being here.
That's a
Yes.
really great, and apply that to wherever it is that you're thinking about going, whether it's Mexico or someone else, somewhere else. But like Lisa said, Mexico is a huge country, and I don't think as Americans we always appreciate how big the country is and also how amazingly beautiful it is.
And
The same
Afro
going to
Mexicans,
Cancun
yeah.
or going to Playa. One of the reasons I like San Miguel is because it literally is so different from the tourist beach places, even though it is a tourist destination as well. But the interior of the country is beautiful.
Yes,
Um, it's and there's a whole, area that is filled with Afro Mexicans as well, as Lisa was saying. You
Costa
go to
Chica.
Veracruz, see
Hmm.
Black Mexican people, right? And as she said, it's all Africa. So a lot of the customs, the food, all these things are very similar to if you're Black American or if you're from the Caribbean or if you've been to Africa, you'll see things that are very, very familiar. Even just watching the videos of it, I was very fascinated by some of the things that I saw. And that's one of my goals of things that I really want to do next year is to visit Veracruz. And so I think if you're planning to come to Mexico, as you those of you who follow Michelle probably are thinking about that, is to explore the country. Don't just limit yourself to the beach towns, right? There's a lot of really, really pretty places. And Michelle is like Dora the Explorer, is what I call her. So
I
Michelle
am.
knows about a lot of these places because Michelle will jump in her car and be gone.
Yes, I will. I love it. And trust, it's so different because, first of all, I'm not saying don't be careful. And I don't want to just say go and do whatever. But driving around in Mexico has been really an amazing experience for me. There's so many beautiful landscapes that I just really never put two and two together in my head. And Lisa knows because you drove from California to Playa, which is, how many hours was that for you? 20 something
For
hours,
seven
right?
days.
7 day trip, but
It
you
was.
stopped along the
We
way.
went through. We went Baja, Sonora, Saloa. We went through. We stayed overnight in Guaymas. We went to Mazatlan, Guadalajara overnight, Oaxaca, Veracruz, and we drove 12 hours straight from Veracruz to Playa del Carmen. We were going to go to Merida, but it was like my money was getting funny. I was like, I can't.
Well, that's a lot of driving,
And I
but
had a
it's
local
beautiful.
drive with me, a local taxi driver. I flew her to Tijuana. My driver that was here before I left, I flew her to
Yeah,
Tijuana and we drove across country.
Wow.
nice. And that's
Beautiful,
beautiful. I mean, you just would not even imagine like the scenery that you will see, mountains and
freaking
the
amazing.
greenery. It's
And the
like
food,
jungle, the food, the
and the food.
people. Yeah, it's just really, really a beautiful thing if you're able to do that in the future. Even if you take a bus to somewhere. I mean, I know that's not for everyone, but I sometimes enjoy doing that because I don't feel like driving. But it's really been eye-opening for me to experience Mexico this way, as opposed to always flying and landing in, a city and then being there. So living in San Miguel has really given me more insight because I like getting in my car and exploring even just 2, 3, 4 hours, 5 hours radius of where we live. And I've been so incredibly surprised by how lovely this country is every time I go out. I don't know that I've ever been to another country where I admire the landscape as much as I do here. And I'm not just saying that, I'm just really taken aback by, the mountains that I get to see, the things where I can go hiking, the waterfalls, the water in certain places, even in the mountains, sometimes it's like blue. And I've only experienced that when I was in Switzerland. I haven't really experienced that in many other places that were not beach side. So I just love this country as I always talk about it. And yes, it has its challenges in living here, but it's a great place to explore. So I
Michelle, I
say
want
get
to
out and do
ask
that.
also in the southern region, Playa del Carmen is in the southern region where you fly into Cancun. The cenotes and the jungle is beautiful. Don't let that freak you out. I'm envisioning creating a living space in the jungle one day. And so I was recently supposed to host a concert event in the jungle last month, but we had some rain and some other issues. But the cenotes here and the jungle is spiritual. They were inhabited by Mayans. And when you go to some of these places, they are freaking amazing and spiritual and calm. So do not discount. I mean, Playa might be a beach town, or we might have the beach towns, but here in the southern region in Quintana Roo, the cenotes and the jungle is amazing. And there's tours through the cenotes in the jungle that's connected to the ocean. So scuba
I love
diving
that.
and a little bit of everything. So definitely come here, get in contact with me. I put you in contact with tours and stuff to have that
Absolutely.
experience. That's
Absolutely.
it.
So we went through this whole video. I did not say please like the video and subscribe to my channel because I am always like, just let's get into the conversation. So please make sure you do that. Hit the like button right now if you're watching the live or replay. I appreciate you for doing that. If you have been here before and have not subscribed yet, please do so. Notification bell. I am typically on every Wednesday at the same time. If I'm not on, it's just because I'm off doing something else. But if you haven't subscribed as well to my newsletters where I make announcements about what we're going to talk about, please do that at casaelm.com. And just wait a few seconds and the subscription box will pop up, and then you'll start receiving I think we send out 2 or 3 email blasts a week, but then you'll kind of know what we're going to talk about and the things that are happening here. Happy Life Plus says, I'm so enjoying this conversation. Beautiful Black independent women. Thank you very much. That's it. I don't know if you want anything to add anything else, ladies. That's it.
Might
All
have to
right.
move to Casa Elms to your senior living in the
Oh, my
future. So
hacienda elm.
I see
Yeah,
it.
we might have some parties over
We
there
need to
too.
talk.
Yeah, maybe have some parties.
Oh,
So
that would be a
she's,
great spot to have a party. It's
oh
such a
yeah,
beautiful property.
thank
It's
you.
really, you guys should go and see it. It's really,
Okay.
really.
I'm gonna come
Thank
visit you
you.
guys soon, maybe
Yeah,
in a
come and
couple of months.
visit. Yeah, come and visit.
I can bring my OG crew.
Girl, yes.
I have an OG crew.
Girl, bring them. Bring them. I'm a part of that crew too. So I want to say, just because you brought it up, Hacienda Elm, if you're new here, is my 60 plus living community for those who want to age. It's supported living for those who are still kind of physically independent, but you don't want to have all the responsibilities maybe of living on your own, maintaining your own space. Maybe you need help and things like that. So check it out. And also Casa Elm, if you just want to come and hang out, you're welcome to do that. We do relocation tours, packages, and then we also do solo travelers. We have our wonderful event coming up with Anne-Marie's Ball Girl Will Travel. It is sold out, but we do have day passes for Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, which is November the 2nd. And you can check that out at baldgirlwilltravel.com. Go to the events page. Again, as I said earlier in my message, please read. And you can find all the details on both of our websites, and also check out Lisa's information in the description box. All of us are in the description box on this video. All right, ladies, I appreciate the honesty, candid, frank conversation tonight. And for everyone who joined us in the chat, I appreciate you for coming out tonight. It was fun. We definitely could have gone on and on, but we're going to save some for next time. We're going to circle back on your Viking because I want to hear about the Vikings.
You want to tell you about the Polish Viking? Girl, I'll tell you about it. But
Yes, all right.
I just want to say it is okay to date just to have fun, just as much as
Okay,
it is okay to date to find whoever it is that you're looking, whether it's your soulmate or
that's
whatever
right.
you're looking for. And I want us to be liberate ourselves from the idea that every man has to be sized up for a tuxedo.
Right,
It's okay
right.
to
I
date
love a
just to
man
have
in a
a good
tuxedo.
Yeah,
time,
but you can wear the tuxedo just to, go out to dinner. You don't have,
yeah,
yeah.
but I'm
I
just
want to
saying
add to
everybody isn't
that.
going to end up doesn't need to be on the top of a
Right.
wedding cake is what I'm saying.
Exactly. And I want to add to that. Basically, I want to say give your emotions a break, okay? Give your emotions a break because sometimes people just kind of go in and they're just like looking at everything that's checked off on the list. And, there are signs that we need to pay attention to if are we compatible. And I'm saying this from experience, are we compatible? Why am I looking for this and whatever? It's not that I'm knocking being in a relationship, not at all. What I am saying is take your time and make sure it fits and also evaluate and know who you are. And is this something that you want long term? And is this something you want to work at? I can honestly say that I know I am not ready for a long term relationship because I don't want to hurt someone who is, because I will be very quick to say this isn't really working out because I don't want to work at a long-term relationship that much because I'm busy and I just am being very realistic. I don't mind going out. I don't mind having a nice dinner. I don't mind dating, things like that. But I'm not looking for that constant like check-in and, where are you? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. That is like the biggest turn off for me. I just feel very overwhelmed by this because I'm very busy. And so I feel like knowing who I am and what I want, in all fairness to someone else, that would not be a good match. And so I think you got to really understand yourself and what you're looking for, especially as we age. I know my tolerance level for a man is on the ground in general. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just saying, like, I'm just not, I'm not there in that space for a lot of interaction. So I think there's understanding that, but also going out and being open to meeting people, having a good time, and being really light with yourself, light with your emotions is important. And stop weighing yourself down with expectations and traditions that you think you have to fall into a certain box. Yeah, go out, have some
Can I just
fun.
add?
Sure.
Interdependency is what you're talking
Yes.
about. Having an interdependent relationship is something that I've been saying for years because I'm free. I'm a free spirit. And then secondly, I know we're closing, is the most important relationship that I'm learning about is the relationship with Lisa. Learning how to love myself. And I know we've reiterated that a couple of times, but most important relationship is learning how to love yourself first.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
You have to bring that peace, keep the peace,
Yeah.
and live by it. Okay. So Iona, thank you so much. She said, love the conversation, love meeting Lisa and seeing Anne-Marie again. Lots of great wisdom,
I just going to say,
inspiration.
because I'm not going to say anything profound. I'm just going to say, and it is okay to just go out and get the Mario coins knocked out. All right.
That's it. That's
It,
it.
as the youngsters like to say, that's okay
Exactly.
too.
That's
All
it.
right.
That's what I'm talking
All right.
about. All right. Good night, everyone. You ladies hang tight for a moment. Thank you all for being here again. I appreciate you. And we will see you next week, Wednesday. Stay tuned. Hold on a
Hey,
sec.
what's up? Here comes
Thanks,
Ashton.
Ashton.
Ashton's like, look, lady,
Hey,
where's my food?
Ashton.
I locked up Nicolito in the barrio because he doesn't like me being on Zoom call. Oh my God! Oh, it's so cute.
Hi, Ashton. I know you
Oh,
don't
let me
remember me.
Your friend
Look
right
at your hair. It's so wiry.
wait. Let me go get my.
So cute.